And finally, for today's Ask Kochie question, Fleur Chambers is keen for some advice around funding for her startup.
Hi Kochie, my name's Fleur Chambers and I've created a meditation app called The Happy Habits. I realise if I really want to expand my app in terms of regular updates and marketing, then I might need to look into some external funding. So my question for you is, what are the pros and cons of government funding versus private funding? And where would you go to start this process of inquiry? Thanks so much.
Thanks for that great question, Fleur. And to help me answer it, I'm joined by funding expert Irene Tsang, founder of Lift Women. Irene, thanks for joining us. Now, what types of government funding is available for startups looking to grow?
So basically, every single state, they have their own government offer supporting the local startup. On top of that, the federal government sometimes have some government grant launched in the national level as well. If you are solving a particular social problems, for example, like mental health, you can also look for specific grant that's supporting this kind of good social cause. And another thing is government also support a grant for female only. So like recently, they actually increased the grant to support female founders. So they have a boosting female initiative. So number one is there is a grant and program finder by business.gov.au. There's another one which is Grant Connect, which is by the grants.gov.au. So these two grant finders are quite useful tools.
So what are the benefits of going for funding with private investors instead?
If you go to the private investor, you may have a little bit more flexibility. The reason I say that is when you apply government grants, they usually have a co-payment arrangement. So for example, government will pay only up to a certain percentage of your project expense or your project cost. But when you look for private investor, they usually do not have this kind of co-payment arrangement.
And where can Fleur find out about investment opportunities?
There are actually traditional way and non-traditional way. So when we say traditional way is you look for angel investor who is willing to invest in early stage startup. You can look for venture capitalists. They usually look for more matured and established startups. A non-traditional way is crowdfunding. So there are three types of crowdfunding that you can consider. The first type is reward crowdfunding, which is actually basically telling the community that this is what you're providing and ask them to support you. The second type of crowdfunding is equity crowdfunding. You tell a big group of people what you're trying to do and you ask for money. The third type is debt crowdfunding, is basically borrowing and lending.
Great tips, Irene. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.